I've got a cancer called gastrointestinal stromal tumours, which is GIST for short. It's a cancer of the digestive system, a really rare cancer that's not very well known about.
Yeah, I've never heard about it myself. How did you find out that you had this cancer?
I've been quite poorly for quite a while before it was diagnosed. I'd become really anaemic, I'd lost a lot of weight. Eventually I ended up in hospital and had a lot of investigations done, and they found a really quite large tumour in my small intestine. Initially they told me it wasn't cancer, they told me it was a mass that could be operated on and just to relieve my pain that I was having. And it wasn't until they did the operation that they realised it was cancer.
What was your reaction when you found out then? It must have turned your world upside down.
Yeah, a bit of a blur. It just sort of knocked me off my feet, I suppose. But I had a 3-year-old, so I just had to get on with it. And
yeah, how long ago was this then?
Nearly 10 years ago now.
Right, so you were early 20s as well?
Yeah, I was 22.
Wow, unbelievable. So you get told you've got this cancer, but it's a cancer that you've probably never heard of before.
No.
Is it true that even the doctors didn't really know too much about it?
No, it was at Scarborough Hospital, and it wasn't something that they'd seen. They were all sort of... They came to me and said a few doctors wanted to come in and see this tumour. It was all quite a big thing.
Yeah.
It's not something that they find very often, so... What
were you told at the time then in terms of treatment and what might happen with this cancer?
To be honest, they were quite vague in the beginning. You know, I was told it was an incurable cancer, but I'd had it removed at that point and there was no traces of it left inside me, so they put me on a preventive chemotherapy drug that showed good results in containing it for people that did have it. And for quite a few years I was alright. I didn't have any regrowth or anything, but I had to stay on the chemotherapy. And it was in 2012 when I had a routine scan and they found it had grown in my liver. So that's where I'm at the minute. I've got tumours in my liver. I'm on the chemotherapy still, which is keeping it stable for me at the minute. I'm quite lucky, but it's not operable.
That news must have been really devastating to find out that it was back and that it was there.
Yeah, definitely.
So, for the last decade, I suppose, you've not really known too much, but now you've got a bit more information, haven't you? And there's quite a big campaign at the moment to get a drug put on the NHS, is that right?
It's actually a drug that was on the NHS.
Okay.
And due to government funding cuts, it's been taken off. They've decided that they're not going to fund it anymore. The drug was actually used for colorectal cancers, and it was grouped wrongly. It showed not great results for sort of bowel cancers and things. It needs to be regrouped because it shows brilliant results for GIST patients. So we need to sort of fight for that, but we need to get these 100,000 signatures to get the government to relook at their decision to get this drug reinstated, so that we've got the option to have this.
Is it frustrating that you have to get 100,000 signatures before someone takes notice? Because that's how it kind of seems. We're
fighting for our lives. At the end of the day, we're fighting for something that can keep us alive, that can give us time with our children and keep us here. We shouldn't have to fight for it.
How many kids have you got then?
I've got just one daughter.
Right, and so if she was 3 at the time, she must be, a teenager now?
She's 12 now, yeah.
She's also unwell herself, isn't she?
She is, yeah. Unfortunately, she was born with, again, another rare condition. She was born with septo-optic dysplasia and multiple pituitary hormone deficiency, which is a bit of a mouthful, but basically that means that Amber's blind in one eye, partially sighted in her other eye, and she doesn't produce her own hormones. She's got to have a lot of medication throughout the day, an injection every night. We've got to carry emergency medication everywhere we go with us.
She needs a lot of care.
She does, yeah.
And obviously you want to be able to give her that care.
I do, yeah.
In as good a health as possible, yeah.
Yeah, the thought of me not being here while she's not old enough to take care of herself and not yet an independent adult, absolutely terrifies me. So
another big reason to get this drug available. This campaign's going really well because I've just seen on Twitter, I think, that you've got enough signatures to fill Wembley Stadium. That's nearly, that's 90,000 people, isn't it?
We've just got over 90,000, yeah. So we're doing fantastic. We've had some brilliant retweets from quite a lot of celebrities, and lots of people getting behind us. It's fantastic.
If people do want to sign the signature and get a bit more information, then how can they do that?
There's a website that they can go to. It's www.gemmapeacock.org, and that's Gemma with a J.
So gemmapeacock.org, yeah.
Yeah, they can find out loads more information on there. They can get access to the petition on there as well. So that's a brilliant website to look on.
Finally, this cancer then, how is it affecting you now then?
The cancer itself doesn't affect me massively. The effects I have are from the chemotherapy. That causes me to be quite tired quite a lot of the time, and just general side effects. I've been on it a long time, so I do manage them quite well, but I'd say the tiredness is the big thing for me.
Does it have an effect on your family?
It does, yeah, because I've got a child. I want to do everything that everyone wants to do with their child, and sometimes it's hard.
Does she find it hard as well? She'll obviously know what...
Yeah, she's at an age where she understands, but how much do you tell a 12-year-old? She's known always that I was poorly. She doesn't know to the extent that I'm poorly. I prefer that.
And I understand that, yeah, totally. Okay, well, it looks like you're heading for 100,000 signatures. The government will then have to discuss it. And how hopeful are you that you'll be able to get this drug?
Very hopeful. I really hope that, they realise how important this is and how many lives are affected by this and how many lives this could potentially extend. And, that extension could provide us the time that there could be a cure found in, which, we all just want the chance to be here to see our kids grow up. And
totally, so we all take life for granted, don't we, really? And when you hear stories like that, it puts it all into perspective. Thanks for talking to me, because I know it must be a really hard story to talk about, and you're very nervous about coming on the radio as well. So hopefully you feel a bit better now.
Yeah, thank you.
Good. Gemma with a J, gemmapeacock.org. And if people want to find out your story, actually, you can go to gemmapeacock.org/Laura, because your story's up there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, right, you can take a nice big breath now and relax, and hopefully soon you'll get to that 100,000 signatures, and you'll have to let us know how it all goes. We'll keep an eye on that story. All right.
Thank you.